What is going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to be teaching Lance how to wheelie an e-bike. I think we're going to start him on the X, maybe move up to the Sting R. You know the X wheelie's super good. You ready for it, Lance?
So here's the deal, guys. You might be wondering, well, Lance, how the heck have you been riding a Talaria for over a year and you haven't learned how to wheelie yet? Well, here's why. I have a couple excuses, and then we're gonna figure out how to wheelie. So, first excuse is, I came from riding mountain bikes. I did not come from riding dirt bikes. I had no idea how to wheelie with a throttle. And my first excuse is that when I got my Talaria Sting, I moved the brakes to mountain bike style, which you literally cannot wheelie with because it puts your back brake on the throttle hand.
Yeah, I did not know that. I switched to Lance's bike a few months ago, completely wheelied over backwards because I grabbed the wrong brake.
So that's my first excuse. So I ran my Talaria Sting with the brake switched for like 8-10 months, and then like 2 months ago I switched them when I got new brakes, so now I have moto style placement on the bars, and I've been training my brain to get my brakes figured out on my hands because I had so much muscle memory from years of racing mountain bikes. Now I've got it figured out. Now I have a controller that will wheelie better because my KO Nano was horrible for wheelies. It just could not wheelie. Alex couldn't wheelie it, Reed couldn't wheelie it, it just sucked. So now we're gonna put me on the X. I've practiced just a little bit just to kind of prepare for this video, but now Alex and Reed are gonna check out my form, see if I can make it work. I know how to wheelie a mountain bike, super easy. We'll throw in a clip here, but we're gonna teach me how to wheelie a moto today.
Let's go.
See, I can wheelie bikes, well, I used to be able to wheelie bikes, but I can't wheelie motos, so we gotta teach me. All right, guys, we are out on the road. Reed and Alex have taught me a few things previously, so I'm gonna go over kind of what I've learned a little bit, and I'm gonna show you how good I am, and then they're gonna watch me and keep giving me more pointers and kind of as we go through the video.
The first thing you guys need to know when learning how to wheelie is safety. So this is your back brake. You always need to have your finger on the back brake. Your finger needs to be overlapping it. You also need to wear a helmet. I don't want to see anybody doing wheelies without a helmet on.
I would also wear gloves. I'm not, because I forgot them, but Lance is. He's the one that's going to be wheeling.
I'll be the one that's doing the wheeling. Yeah, that back brake, that's what's going to bring you down, keep you from going back over the back of the bike and looping it. You got to just always have that back brake. What these guys have been teaching me first is just pop it, using the throttle, kind of pop that front wheel off, kind of leaning back, pop it up, and then immediately grabbing the back brake to bring me back down. And I just did that a ton of times until my mind just mentally learned what to do if I needed to bring the bike back down. So I'm gonna go try that a couple more times, kind of show you guys what it looks like, and then then they're gonna tell me what I gotta do next to really learn.
Yeah, so that first thing you wanna do is just learn that throttle control. Just pop it up, go straight back down. You just do this, and you go back down.
Just like that. Just little bursts. You don't want to go too high. You just want to start small, work your way up.
And if you're not even going that high, you don't even need the brake. It'll just go right back down. Just learn that throttle control, learn where it kicks in, and then just put it right back down.
Lance, you ready to try? We haven't taught Lance much, but there he is.
I'm getting a little bit higher.
Higher pops right there. Hovering over that back brake.
Okay, the next step is basically a power wheelie. So that's where you're just going with your throttle. You're not quite in the balance point, but you're just going until the bike doesn't have enough power and goes down. And what we found helpful is leaving your feet down and trying to ride that. Some people prefer just putting their feet on the pegs. We and Alex found it a lot easier to have your legs down. The reason me and Alex like to have our legs dragging is it makes it more balanced, so you don't feel like you're going to tip over side to side, and it's easier to get into the balance point because your weight is further back, your legs are already down. You can find that balance point easy. If you're wheelie over backwards, you're right there, you can catch yourself easier. See, I was ready. My feet were already down, I just caught the bike and I was good to go. If my feet were on the pegs, it would have been a lot harder. I might have went straight on my back. But if you don't want your legs down, you can try it on the pegs. That still works. That's what Lance is doing.
Reed's legs are dragging and he's just doing that power wheelie. So he's not finding the balance point, but he's going until the bike doesn't have any more power and it just hits the front wheel down.
So you gotta do that step for a long time. Me and Alex were doing that for weeks until we got that balance point pretty good with our legs down. And then by that time, we finally were comfortable enough to put our feet on the pegs, and it just clicked for us. We were able to ride the balance point with our feet on the pegs, and it was awesome. That's when wheeling started being super fun. So Lance right now is still learning that balance point. He's just doing the power wheelie with his feet up, because he didn't want to do feet down, because that's what he was more comfortable with. So he's doing the power wheelie, so he's just going until he ran out of power. And that was pretty good.
Yeah, he is keeping it lots higher than you would. That's what he's worked up to. He started with it just barely off the ground, but he's working up his way up, and he'll find that balance point soon.
Yep. So this is the step me and Alex were literally doing for weeks.
Yeah, we were doing this step for weeks.
And then it finally clicked for us. We found that balance. We were just too scared to go far enough back to that balance point. It's way far back there. You don't realize how far back it is. You just got to make sure you always have your finger on that brake so you don't go loop it over backwards.
There's the balance point. With his feet down, his center of gravity is back quite a ways, so the balance point is easier to reach.
Yep, it really helps to have your feet down. I really recommend doing that, and just until you get comfortable, and put your feet back on the pegs so your shoes don't get ruined like ours did. So that next step we've been talking about is finding that balance point. Some people think they find it, but they really don't. It's far back there. Once you do find it though, you know.
I'm tired of looking for the balance point. I just want to find it.
Yeah, he hasn't even found it yet. It's back there. You'll get there.
You'll been there a few times, but when I get there, I get scared and I pull the back brake because it's pretty dang far.
So Lance never used his feet down. He felt comfortable enough to balance on it.
I think just coming from wheeling on mountain bikes, like I was used to like moving my knees side to side or even putting a foot out for a second to like lean the bike. The motos are way heavier, so it takes way more to lean them, but I just felt really uncomfortable having my legs down. So you guys do you. I think they're both gonna work, and they're gonna both take a similar amount of time. They take some time to learn.
So here are a couple of tips me and Alex learned just from doing this. Let me get my phone out.
We got a list going.
So after you do all those steps we've told you, you're a little bit more comfortable on the bike, going up, using your feet. Here are the steps we have learned. So when you're going, you don't want to just be stopped and pop it up, or else it's hard to stay in balance. What we found is be going like 4, 5, 6 miles an hour, and then just slowly pull the throttle back so you slowly come up. Don't just jerk it up, or else it's hard to stay in that balance. So come up slow, and then it's easier to just go straight. Okay, one of the next tips is once you're up there, me and Alex, what we would do is we would be like this, like fighting the bike, trying to pull it back. But what you want to do is just straighten out your arms, straighten out your back, and then it's a lot easier to stay up there, a lot more comfortable. Another tip is once you're up there, find something straight in front of you and just keep your eye on that. That also helps you just keep it in that balance so you're not going side to side. All of those things are going to help you stay up and not like just go to the side.
Okay, what you don't want to do is be at a complete stop. You want to be moving slightly, and don't just jerk it up. You want to bring it up slower.
All right, Lance is getting more comfortable. He seems to be finding the balance point a little bit now.
There he is. He's not using the full power of it, so it's not just slamming down when he runs out. He's able to bring it up, and he's pretty much got the balance point there.
Yeah, he's getting close. How was that?
Whoa.
That felt really good, actually. I think I found the balance point for a while.
You were there.
And then I kind of lost it because I was just going too fast, the power wheelie phase, but it's starting to click. I was very straight, like very straight. I didn't even have to do any leaning or anything. So I think I'm getting there. That's cool.
Pretty cool.
I popped it up slow too.
Let's see another one. What do you think he needs? Think he just needs more practice?
I think he just needs more practice. He's using all the tips that we've used. On that one,
he pulled it up a little bit strong.
He pulled it up strong. You could kind of tell his arms were bent.
Yep.
So instead of having those bent arms, he needs to straighten them out a little bit.
Hey, we gotta say another thing. We are not professionals. We are not super good. We just learned. We're able to do it just up the street as far as we want, basically. We can't do any tricks. We can't do crazy stuff.
We're not stunting around the street, but we pretty much learned on these e-bikes, so that's all we've known, really. Lance is learning coming from mountain bikes. Reed's done a little bit of mountain biking wheelies, but this is what we've learned on.
I stunt when they're not around, but they don't know that. On that run, I almost went over backwards. I was like high in the balance point, and I hit a little like pothole hole, And so it like popped me back even more. I had to grab as much brake as I could and it barely brought me back. So that scared me a little.
Another couple of tips that we didn't use but some people might want is leaving the brake sensors on for when you're starting out. So then you just pull the brake and it just slams you down even faster because it cuts your power. You can't wheelie it over backwards after you're touching the brake. Another thing is having the regen on full. That helps you go down faster too.
Yeah, because regen is a back brake because it's coming from your motor.
So we didn't love those things when we were trying, but I mean, if you want to try them, they might work for you.
One thing to note, before you get on these bikes and start to wheelie, you need to know how to ride. You need to put a few hundred miles on the bike. Don't just get it out of the box, start to wheelie, pop it up. You need to know what the bike is.
You got to get comfortable on the bike. Our little brother just got one. We're not teaching him how to wheelie yet because he's not that comfortable yet.
You just got to be safe. People loop over backwards and it does not go over well.
I've never looped over backwards. Lance has never looped over backwards. Alex did once because his brakes were swapped on Lance's bike.
Yeah, it's like, it's not my fault because he should have known because my brakes have been swapped for months, but he just didn't think about it.
I just switched and I ended up being okay.
Another thing, on the Sting R, that really helped us learn how to wheelie. On our MX3s, we couldn't wheelie. Some people can, but those are way harder to wheelie. The Sting R helped a ton, more power, way smoother throttle.
And contrary to popular belief and what we thought, a giant sprocket doesn't necessarily make wheeling easier. It can make popping up a little bit easier, but then it's actually harder to find that throttle point to kind of keep you where you want to be. And we actually have our dad's stock Talaria Sting R out here because it wheelies better than Reed's and Alex's with a bigger sprocket. Our Talaria X has a slightly bigger sprocket, and we did like that because it adds a little bit more torque to pop us up, but you don't need some giant massive sprocket to be able to wheelie good.
It's just gonna make the throttle jumpy.
All right, Lance thinks he found the balance point, but Alex is gonna show us where it really is.
This seat is hot on my butt.
Yep, he's way higher up. The battery is straight. Yeah.
Do you think I made the balance?
I think you found it.
Let's try again. Ready?
Excuse me, sir.
Hey.
Yeah, so we can just go slow, keep that in the balance point. Lance was still kind of doing a power wheelie.
This balance point's way different.
Oh, it's...
It's got way more power.
Watch your back brake.
Oh, brother. I gotta learn how to wheelie a Sting now. I only know how to wheelie an X.
Oh, so that was up. Now he's in the balance point.
Well, I gotta keep practicing.
Yep. Yeah, watching those guys in California doing those group rides, just wheeling down the road, that is crazy.
It like kind of freaks me out a
It's
little
so
bit.
crazy.
That's crazy. You gotta have a really good back brake to do some of that stuff. Someone needs to tell him to stop showing off. It's making me... Feelings hurt, you know?
One thing I forgot to mention is once you're up there, once you get comfortable, you can stick your knees out either side to kind of keep you from falling over. You should also keep your hips a little loose so you can kind of maneuver the bike if you're going down a twisty road, but that's only when you feel comfortable and you found that balance point.
Your hips don't lie, that's for dang sure. All right, guys, that's all for now. Thanks for watching. Please consider subscribing to our channel. Be safe out there. We're gonna keep practicing wheeling, and hopefully, eventually, someday, maybe we can do some stunting.
See you guys.